She trusted him. She let her daughter fall for him. And now Lisa Swain has discovered something so devastating that she's marching straight to the police station to report it. If you thought you'd seen Lisa angry before, nothing has prepared you for what's coming to Weatherfield, because the truth behind Betsy's terrifying health collapse has just been laid bare, and it involves her boyfriend Dylan Wilson in a way that no parent could ever be ready for. Grab a cup of tea, because this is one of the most emotionally charged and controversial storylines Coronation Street has tackled in years, and today we're breaking down exactly what's happened, why it matters, and where this explosive plot goes next. If you've been following the cobbles lately, you'll know that Coronation Street has never shied away from difficult, headline-grabbing storylines, and this latest chapter involving Lisa Swain, her daughter Betsy, and Betsy's boyfriend Dylan Wilson is proving to be one of the most talked-about plots of the year. What started as a coming-of-age romance has spiraled into a deeply serious and sensitive storyline about consent, trust, and the devastating consequences that can follow when things go wrong behind closed doors. Fans have been glued to their screens for weeks watching this story unfold, and the fallout has now reached boiling point, with Lisa Swain, DS by profession and fiercely protective mother by nature, finding herself at the center of one of the most dramatic confrontations the show has produced this year. For those who need a bit of a refresher, let's talk about who's involved here. Lisa Swain, played by Vicky Myers, joined Coronation Street as a police detective and quickly became entangled in the personal and professional lives of the underworld factory crowd. She fell in love with Carla Connor, played by soap legend Allison King, and the pair have become one of the show's most popular couples, known affectionately by fans as Swarla. Lisa's daughter Betsy Swain, played by Sydney Martin, arrived in Weatherfield as a troubled teenager still reeling from the loss of her mother Becky, a storyline that later took an astonishing twist when Becky turned out to be alive after faking her own death. Betsy has grown into one of the show's most compelling young characters, someone who has been through more trauma than most adults could handle, from the Corrie crash to discovering her supposedly dead mother walking around Weatherfield large as life. Then there's Dylan Wilson, played by Liam McShane, the son of Sean Tully and part of one of the street's most enduring families. Dylan has had his own dark chapters, including a storyline involving knife crime and car theft that saw him testify against local troublemaker Mason Radcliffe. In more recent months, the show's writers have shifted focus toward Dylan's personal growth, and in particular, his blossoming relationship with Betsy. The pair bonded over shared grief following Mason's tragic death, and that emotional closeness eventually developed into something romantic. Around the time of Betsy's 18th birthday, she revealed to her mother that she and Dylan had slept together, a moment that instantly complicated the emerging love triangle involving Betsy, Dylan, and another young Weatherfield resident, Brodie Michaelis, who had also been vying for Betsy's attention. That birthday confession was dramatic enough on its own, sparking tension between Dylan and Brodie and putting Lisa on high alert as any mother would be when her daughter starts a new relationship. But what has unfolded since then has taken this storyline into far more serious and sobering territory, and it's here that the real explosive twist comes in. In recent episodes, Betsy was rushed to hospital after collapsing and suffering a stroke, leaving Weatherfield in a state of shock and leaving Lisa and Carla frantic with worry. Doctors were initially baffled by what could have caused such a serious medical event in someone so young, and as the investigation into Betsy's condition continued, she suffered a second stroke while still in hospital care, intensifying the fear among her family and friends. It was a terrifying, uncertain period for viewers, watching Lisa hover at her daughter's bedside, desperate for answers and increasingly frustrated that nobody could tell her what had gone wrong. That's when the story took its most shocking turn yet. It was eventually revealed that Betsy's strokes were caused by damage to an artery in her neck, and that this injury had occurred during a night with her boyfriend Dylan, involving non-fatal strangulation during what was described as consensual sex. For Lisa, already emotionally raw from watching her daughter fight for her life, this revelation changed everything. She had already, in the confusion of the early days of the crisis, started to place some of the responsibility for Betsy's hospitalization on Dylan's shoulders, sensing that something wasn't adding up. But learning the specific and shocking cause of her daughter's medical emergency sent Lisa's fury into overdrive. Viewers watched as Lisa, still trying to hold herself together for Betsy's sake, gently reassured her daughter that she was beautiful and that this ordeal wouldn't last forever, offering the kind of tender, protective comfort that has defined her character throughout this crisis. But behind that composed exterior, Lisa was clearly processing something much darker, and it wasn't long before her anger boiled over. In one of the most tense scenes the show has aired this year, Lisa confronted Dylan directly in Roy's cafe, the confrontation crackling with the kind of raw emotion that only a parent whose child has been harmed can bring to a scene. As a detective sergeant herself, Lisa isn't someone who processes trauma quietly, and fans watching at home could feel the tension radiating off the screen as she squared up to the young man her daughter had trusted and who she now believed bore responsibility for what had happened. What makes this storyline land with such weight is that Lisa isn't just a mother in this moment. She's also a police officer, someone whose entire career is built around seeking justice and holding people accountable. And that professional instinct appears to be taking over, because in a jaw-dropping twist, Lisa has now been seen walking into Weatherfield police station to report a crime. For longtime viewers, this is a stunning development, because it suggests that Lisa isn't prepared to let this situation stay a private family matter. She wants answers, and it seems she wants consequences. Naturally, this has sent the Coronation Street fanbase into overdrive. Social media has been flooded with reactions since these episodes aired, with viewers praising the show for tackling such a difficult and nuanced subject with the sensitivity it deserves, while also debating fiercely about where the blame in this situation truly lies. Some fans have pointed out that the storyline is handling a genuinely important and under-discussed issue, opening up conversations about consent and safety within relationships that many younger viewers may not otherwise have exposure to. Others have expressed heartbreak for Betsy, a character who has already endured so much trauma in her short time on the cobbles, and who now finds herself at the center of a storyline that could define her arc for months to come. There's also been considerable discussion about Dylan's fate, with fans divided over how much culpability the show intends to place on his character, and whether this could mark a serious turning point, or even an exit for Liam McShane's role on the show. Entertainment outlets have also taken notice, with several major soap-focused publications running detailed breakdowns of the storyline as it has unfolded, a sign that this plot has broken out of the usual soap fan bubble and into wider cultural conversation. It's the kind of storyline that generates real-world impact, sparking articles, awareness campaigns, and discussions about the importance of representing these issues accurately and responsibly on mainstream television. Coronation Street has a long history of using its platform to shine a light on serious social issues, and this latest chapter looks set to become one of the most discussed and debated storylines of the year. So, where does this go from here? With Lisa now reporting the matter to the police, the door is wide open for a full-blown investigation storyline, something that could pull in numerous other characters as the truth comes under scrutiny. Given that Lisa herself works within Weatherfield's police circles, there's an added layer of complexity here, raising interesting questions about whether she'll be able to remain objective or whether her personal involvement could complicate any official proceedings. Fans are already speculating about what this means for Dylan. Will he face legal consequences? Will Betsy be forced to relive her trauma by giving a statement, especially given how fragile she remains after her health scare? And crucially, how will this affect Betsy and Dylan's relationship moving forward, given that reports suggest the encounter was consensual, even as its consequences have proven so devastating? There's also the question of what this means for the show's wider ensemble. Sean Tully, Dylan's father, is bound to be dragged into this storyline as it escalates, and given his own protective instincts as a parent, viewers can likely expect some emotionally charged scenes between Sean and Lisa as the situation develops. Carla Connor, too, is likely to play a significant supporting role, standing by Lisa's side as she navigates this deeply personal and professional collision. And with the show's producers previously teasing a big year ahead for both Dylan and Betsy's characters, it seems increasingly likely that this storyline will run for weeks, if not months, as the fallout continues to ripple through Weatherfield. Actor Sidney Martin has previously spoken about the emotional weight of exploring Betsy and Dylan's relationship, noting the shared history and trauma that brought the two characters together in the first place. That context makes this latest twist all the more heartbreaking for fans who had been rooting for the couple, watching two young characters who had already suffered so much finally find some happiness together, only for that happiness to be overshadowed by tragedy and controversy. For now, all eyes are on Weatherfield as this storyline reaches its next dramatic chapter. Lisa's fury is far from spent, and with a police report now on record, it's clear that this isn't going to be resolved quietly. Whether this leads to a formal investigation, a court case, or simply a painful reckoning within the Swain and Wilson families, one thing is certain: Coronation Street isn't holding back, and viewers are in for weeks of gripping, emotional television as the consequences of that fateful night continue to unravel. To sum up what we've covered today, Coronation Street has taken its Betsy and Dylan storyline in a genuinely shocking and serious direction, moving from a sweet coming-of-age romance to a devastating health crisis, and now into explosive confrontation and a police investigation. Lisa Swain's fury has been building for weeks, and now that she knows the full truth behind her daughter's hospitalization, she's taking matters into her own hands in the most serious way possible. It's a storyline that has captured the attention of fans and entertainment media alike, and it shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon. That's everything we know so far about this jaw-dropping Coronation Street development, but you can be sure there's plenty more drama on the way. What do you think is going to happen to Dylan? Do you believe Lisa is doing the right thing by getting the police involved, or do you think this is going to tear this Weatherfield family apart for good? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. We absolutely love hearing your theories and reactions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.